Good morning, everybody, and welcome to the 2016 Mazda CX-3. Mazda will call this thing a crossover, although I will disagree respectively. It looks like a crossover with body cladding and all-season tires and a slightly raised suspension, but this is a small car, and if you're 5'6" and can see over the roof of a car, I don't really call that a crossover. However, this is a very nice car for $24,000. It's the Grand Touring trim, so you get some really nice leather and Alcantara seats, really well-trimmed dashboard and steering wheel and shifter. It feels like, a high-quality package. You get 146 horsepower, Skyactiv engine, and 146 pounds of torque, which doesn't sound like much because it's not much. However, the car does weigh only 2,800 pounds. So, it's not much to move around. You also get 11-inch brakes, which is way more brake than a car of this weight and size needs. And that's a good thing. Someone's been thinking. So, it's been too long since we've done the Snake. It's a quiet day out here today. So I figured, let's give it a run. Let's see how it goes. Here we go. 6-speed automatic gearbox with paddle shifters. Here's a big surprise. The paddle shifters are great. They work really well. Even though this is a standard, boring, torque converter based auto, you'd be really amazed to see how fast this thing shifts, both up and down. The downshifts, of course, you know they say in golf, drive for show, putt for dough. Upshift speeds are for show, downshift speeds are for dough. That's where a gearbox really makes itself known. Hello, Minnie. So it blips the downshifts really well, and it's quick to respond on the way up. For something that's not a dual clutch, it's very impressive. You can hear those tires. I've got Yokohama all-season tires, and they're not really happy doing this. So if you're a serious canyon carver, well, you're probably not looking at a CX-3, but if you want something in the middle, I would start with the tires. It's going to be your cheapest and your most improvement for your dollars spent. Let's just say that. Progressive understeer. They've really done a good job with the chassis. It has very few vices. It rides well in the city, and it's predictable here. These brakes, I mean, 11 inches at all four corners is really, really big for a car of this size, and so they do a good job. There's more brake than engine, there's more brake than chassis, and there is a lot of chassis. Downshift while turning, zero upsetting of the car there. The steering's electric, it's good, great feedback, pretty direct rack. It's a good balance of usability and sport. You can see I do have to go hand over hand in these hairpins, but there are very few cars where I don't. Hogs coming up. Oh boy, with your trike. I'll never understand those. So this Skyactiv thing, it basically means that the engine is high compression and has an advanced direct injection system, which gets around them using a turbo. It doesn't make as much power as a turbo engine, but you do get better fuel economy than most. Also, this engine is a 13-to-1 compression and can run on 87 regular octane, which is really, that's impressive. That's a pretty neat thing. On the other hand, while it is very happy in the 5,000 to 7,000 RPM range when you're going at it, when you're just driving around, it's a little buzzy and grindy, and it's not as muffled as a turbo engine and not as refined as a turbo engine. And yeah, you do get the throttle response, but who cares about throttle response when there's just not much power behind the throttle? So, on the other hand, there is lots of technology in this car that I use basically every day. There's automatic headlights, there are automatic windshield wipers. It has, amazingly, radar cruise control for 24 grand, which is a new one to me. This is the Grand Touring version, so it's pretty well loaded up with the exception of all-wheel drive. The California press cars don't get the all-wheel drive. And it's even I would say they've taken it one step too far. Mazda, you know, they do a good job building a really nice package for a fair price. However, this pop-up heads-up display, I just don't understand. A motorized component in the interior of a $24,000 car. If you're gonna roll those dice, it should be something very special, and it's just not. It looks like Atari. I don't understand the point. It seems redundant to me. Nevertheless, these seats are great. They're really comfortable. Decent bolstering for a car of this type, and really well trimmed. The leather's very nice. There are some hard surfaces around, but they're not the stuff you really touch all the time. See how it deals with the camber change here. Very nice. Predictable. You can see you can really get into a rhythm. You know, these are momentum cars, which the tires are working against, but you can really brake late and lean on the nose. Oh, have we caught a truck? Oh no, we've caught a truck. Well, I can't let that ruin my fun. Hang on a second. Back. Where was I? Ah, torque steer. There isn't any, because there isn't any torque. You need one to have the other. Spend a lot of time at full throttle in this car. Sort of like the Miata, actually. A lot of time at full throttle in that car, too. Really nice on that downshift there. Just a very crisp blip for an automatic, especially an automatic at this price point. It is really impressive. This is where the engine's happy. 5,000 to 7,000. Still not making much power, but at least it makes a better sound. Little wheel spin on the inside there. It's a good platform, though. It's responsive. I mean, it's not fast, but if you need a practical economy vehicle with a nice interior where you got to spend a lot of time, and then you also, you know, maybe you got to drive windy roads in a while, you want them to be fun, this is a good option. It's just not very quick. I wish they'd put a turbo motor in this. It's so light on its feet. It changes direction so well. It's clearly more brakes and more chassis than it is engine or tire, and some power would go a long way. Well, there you have it. I mean, Mazda CX-3. It's a crossover-y hatchback that makes all right power for every day, not so much power for fun driving. But it's got a chassis, it's got good brakes, it's got good suspension, it's got a nice interior, it fits your people and your stuff. And for 24 grand, I would definitely recommend this thing. If you're into it, I like it a lot. The blue color is amazing. And thank you guys for joining me, and I'll see you later.